Hello friends, Christmas is right around the corner, but we still have time to make some beautiful, quick, affordable DIYs for our home decor. Let's get started. On our first DIY, we're going to use this little board that came out of my cousin's house when she remodeled, and she saved some of them for me. This little snowflake that I've had in my stash for a while, and these letters that I picked up at probably Walmart or maybe Hobby Lobby. You can get them in lots of places. We're going to take Prom Queen by DIY Paint, and we're just going to stipple it on, dab it on, and we're not looking for complete full coverage, just get some on there. Then we're going to take Beadboard by DIY. I get all my DIY paints from Sammy at unicorndustdesigns.com. So if you're interested in IOD or DIY products or some amazing thrifted items, then go on over there to that website. It'll be linked in my description box below. Here is the Amazing White Wax by DIY, and I'm using an old beat up chippy brush, and I'm just kind of stippling, wiping, haphazardly putting it on there to make that snowflake beautiful. Now I'm going to take Marquee, and I watered it down a little bit, which I really wish I had not done. I thought this was going to be just fantastic to do this, but yeah, I had to end up doing a lot of work to make it look like I wanted it to look. But anyway, I coated it all with that watered down Marquee, and I dried it with my heat gun. Then I sanded the edges a little bit with some sandpaper, a little sanding block, and I liked the way the edges looked a little worn. Then I thought, well, I wanted it a little darker, so I took some dark wax by DIY, and in the meantime sealing it with my wax, and then it got a little much, and then I didn't like that, so I just took some Marquee straight out of the bottle, the jar, and kind of dry brushed-ish it on there, and now I'm going to seal it with a Big Top by DIY. Oh, but I'm not through with it yet, so just hold your horses. I'm going to go ahead and glue this beautiful little snowflake right down in the middle. I'm going to put a little twine bow right over that little hole because that just gives it extra cuteness. I'm going to put some hot glue on there where it's going to adhere to the wood. This wood, I didn't do anything to it. This is its natural old state. All I did was wipe it down really good and, get all the dust off. I'm going to just make a knot. I'm going to use a little fray check. If you've never used it, it's great. It keeps the ends of your ribbons or fabric from fraying, and you can get it on Amazon. I'm pretty sure I have it linked in my Amazon storefront. We're going to make a faux knot because I didn't want to drill big, huge holes and put the ribbon through there. So we are just going to make a faux knot. So we're going to glue two of those to the front, one on each side. And then we're going to glue, first I'm going to go ahead and work on those letters just a little bit more. So I took a little bit of, this is probably beadboard or white swan, and I think it's beadboard, and I just dry brushed around the edges a little bit. Now I'm going to take that ribbon on the back side and make sure I'm lining it up with the holes on the front side, get it the length that I want. I'm going to glue it down there, and I don't cut it yet because I want to make sure it's the length that I want. I'm not sure I showed all that on camera, but then I glued it down, cut it off, and there's our cute hanger. And there it is. Just want to pop in and say welcome to my channel. My name is Kendra. You're watching Late Night Creations. If you've been around, thanks for coming back. If you're new, welcome. I hope that you're enjoying the video. Let's get back to the DIYs. I purchased this bag of awesome little wood shapes at Hobby Lobby when it was on sale for probably half price. So I picked out 4 little rectangles, and now they're not all exactly the same size, but it's okay. And I have this IOD transfer of Santa Claus and a wood chunk, a really nice big wood chunk. And I'm going to use Cake Batter by DIY, and I'm going to give each one of these 4 little squares a good coat, just one good coat. Like with the Snowflake earlier, we don't need full coverage. We just need to get some on there. Then we're going to take Crinoline by DIY and do a heavy dry brush or a super light coat, whichever way you want to say it. Because these 2 colors, I think, really looked good with that colors in that Santa transfer. And then I'm going to, what am I going to do next? Oh, I like those colors. Okay, so then we're going to take our mold by IOD, and I'm measuring to see if I need to pour 2 of them or if I can get 1, but I'm going to have to make 2. So I'm mixing part A and part B, equal parts of this aluminite casting. No, it's, I have it linked in the description box below. It is amazing resin, the 10-minute amazing resin that turns white when it's done. And I just had extra, so I poured it in these little flower molds and wanted you to see how fun it is to watch it turn white. So of course this is sped up super duper fast, but how fun is that to watch it turn white? And it works in about 10 minutes, so it does really work fast. So we're going to pull out our little mold, and I've had to make 2 of these, but I'm just showing you one of them. And I'm getting it right where the design I want it is, and I use my little what are these called? Miter shears. And I'm going to just cut it. It works really good to cut that. And I did it while it is still a little bit soft. And I'm going to use some Tite Bond and some hot glue to glue this down. Now, I didn't feel it quite full enough, so I'm having to use quite a bit of glue so that I can make sure that it adheres good. And I'm going to do that for both pieces, one on the top and one on the bottom. Now that it's completely dry, I let it dry really good, and I'm going to take Marquee by DIY, and I'm going to not paint the back because I want some of that beautiful natural wood to still be able to be seen. But I'm going to do the sides and the front with one full coat. It covered really good. This wood, oh, it's so beautiful. And I'm using an old stiff brush. This brush is super stiff. It's not good for much else except painting molds. And it gets down in the grooves and the crevices, the little nooks and crannies, all really good. Okay, while that dries, we're going to go back to our little wood blocks. Now, I'm going to tape them all really close together on the back. So I'm going to just put some masking tape all across the back of it there. And you can see I'm going to put it up and down all around the sides so that they don't move while I'm putting Santa on them. Now, I couldn't decide if I wanted him up and down or long ways, and I kept putting it on the block of the wood we painted Marquee, or I couldn't decide. Ultimately, I went with this way because I like the way he fit on there better. So I put it down, and these transfers are so fantastic. This one transferred probably the easiest of any of them I've ever used. I probably could have just rubbed it with my finger, honestly, guys. But it was look how smooth it came up. And it's just so beautiful how it just goes into that paint and that wood so beautifully. Now I'm going to burnish it with that sheet, and I'm going to take a little X-Acto knife, and I'm going to go in between each one of those little rectangles. And I thought I could just pop it, but no, I did have to score it a little bit. And then I just popped them open, and I'm going to remove that masking tape, take them all apart, and then I'm going to burnish the rest of that transfer down around the edges just so it's nice and smooth. And it burnished right down on there really nicely. Why did you do this, you might ask? I just thought it was a little different look. That's why. So I'm going to take Dark Wax by DIY, and I want to mostly get it on the molds just to bring out the detail in there. And look how beautiful it is. And then I'm just going to almost kind of dry brush it a little heavier around the edges, and I do it all over just to seal it. And I do later seal this entire piece with Big Top but I did not get that on camera. I realized when I was editing that I never showed on camera that I sealed this entire piece with Big Top. I have 2 projects that I didn't show you that I sealed with Big Top. And then I am going to do a little light dusting of this on the back. Like I said, I really wanted you to be able to see that beautiful wood grain finish on that. And then I'm going to take my microfiber cloth and just buff it out a little bit. Now I'm only going to use Titebond on this because I want them to be a certain way, and I want to be able to have a little bit of time to move them around a little bit. I want the same amount of space on each side, top and bottom. I want it not necessarily centered in the piece, but I want them to be, well, maybe centered. I don't know. Anyway, I want it to be kind of even. And it was almost impossible because those little rectangles are not all the same size. But I love how this piece turned out. Okay, we're going to use some little oval pieces out of that pack of wood and another chunk of this beautiful wood that my mom and I got in the dumpster dive. I will link that video in the description box below if you have not seen it. And I'm kind of getting down to the end of it. We need to go dumpster dive again. I'm going to use the Winter Adornment stamp. I bought this cheap ink pad in green, and I thought, oh, this would be pretty. I'm practicing on the back, and the IOD ink is just good. So that was down. That was thumbs down. Fell. So I flipped it over and went with my beautiful black by IOD, and I'm just lightly stamping it on there, getting it even on there, and I'm just going to stamp it down, holding it with one hand, pressing with the other, and then switch hands so as to very carefully not move this thing. And you can see that little piece up there that did not get stamped. I'm going to use that little piece across the top right there. And then I'm going to re-ink it. And the magic of editing, and that was quick. And I'm going to put it right there and stamp it down on this wood. I did not want to paint this wood because it's so beautiful. And then I put a little extra piece across the top, and I wanted to put that extra piece somewhere, but I couldn't find a place for it to go. Now I'm painting this with, what color did I use? Is it beadboard? I believe it is. I'm going to paint all of them, the sides and the front, all 4 of them. And then I take dark wax, pretty much what was just left over in my brush from earlier. And I'm just going around the edges, just around the edges, very lightly on all 4 of them. I just wanted to almost outline them, do a tiny little outline. And this is how they look. And then I took a little cloth and kind of buffed it out a little bit so that it would be a smooth surface. Then I went over to my Cricut and I cut out the letters NOEL on iron-on vinyl. Yes, iron-on wood. And then I took my little Cricut heat press and I ironed them on. I should have done them one at a time because this was definitely, you're supposed to peel it when it's warm. And so I had to go back and reheat them and re-peel because the O was great. And then I like to burnish it a little bit and press it in while it's still warm. And then when I went to do the N, it wasn't, it was too cool, and I had to repress it. You can see the N looks a little wonky because I messed it up. And then I reheated the rest of them, and they all worked out great. And so I just love how this looks. This turns out so cute. So I'm going to use these ribbons across the top. So I thought, but like every good crafter, I changed my mind a million times. I'm going to use wood glue and hot glue. Wood glue for the long-term hold and hot glue for the immediate hold. and line these little letters up. Oh my goodness, I love these. And this is so easy and so inexpensive to do. And I'm just in love with this big, thick. This wood is so heavy too. It was a cabinet shop, and the dumpster was out behind the cabinet shop. And so it was all that nice wood that they had thrown away and just chunks and chunks of wood. And so it's really nice wood. Okay, we've got our letters all pressed down and in place, and I made some little simple bows from this ribbon that I got at Hobby Lobby on sale, of course. You wait until it's 50% off before you go and buy it. And it's just so pretty and festive. And I'm going to glue it down, and then these little picks, my friend Leanne sent these to me. And we did a Craft Your Friend's Stash back in July, and we did a Christmas in July. But we were supposed to send each other things that were just everyday random things out of our stash, and we had to do Christmas DIYs with them. But she kind of cheated and sent me some Christmas things in mine. These cute little pine cones with glitter on them were some of the things in there. And this little bag I'm digging through is part of what I had left over from the things that she sent me. And this cute little wooden snowflake was in there, and I thought that would look cute right in the middle of that bow that looked like it was still missing something. And I did go back and clear coat this with Big Top after I remembered, I forget, and do it after embellishments a lot. Okay, our last DIY was just a last minute put together thing. I had this piece of scrap wood that I had cut several pieces of it and was just laying out on my craft cottage porch. And I had picked up these adorable little Christmas trees at Joann's. They were having 70% off, and I picked them up. They're so cute. And I thought, oh, I want to do them natural. I wanted to do something natural black and white so bad this year for Christmas, and I never got around to it. And I thought, I'm going to leave these natural on that wood. And then I changed my mind. So I got out my Avery, which has been my favorite green this season, and my Avery green by DIY, and then a wet wipe, and just kind of doing some wet distressing and wiping it back. And I just kept painting and wiping and painting and wiping until I got the look that I was going for. I did both trees with that same method, and then I just kind of gave a messy coat around the edges because I kind of want these to look a little translucent, but not really. I don't know. You'll see in the end. This tree is so cute. I wish I would have picked up more of these. I may go back and see if they still have some. Who knows? Maybe after Christmas, unless everybody else liked them too, I can get them even cheaper. That would be amazing. But yeah, these are so very cute and feel like good quality as well. So I wiped off, and then if I wiped off too much, I went back and put a little more paint on and then just wiped it off. And then I get out my beadboard and dry brush them to pieces. Like I just really did true dry brushing, like hardly any paint on there, and just brush. And it just looks almost flocked. I love how these turned out. And then I had that little star. That little star was part of what Leanne sent me to. Leanne's channel is called Simply Enjoying Crafting. So if you've never watched her channel, you should go over and watch her. She does some really cute DIYs, and I think you'll really like her. She is a super sweet girl. We've become good YouTube buddies. I hope someday that we actually get to meet each other in person. We talk every single day on Marco Polo, and we've just become great friends. So I'm going to take Queen Bee by DIY and give this a good coat. And then I have that other little star. I have a whole ton of these. If you've watched any of my Christmas videos, you've seen me use these. And I had one left that I had painted Queen Bee. And I decided that I was going to layer this up to make it look like the trees, how they were kind of layered up like that. And then I got my little I had to clean off some of that hot glue that oozed out. And it came off really easy because I didn't let it dry. Let's dry brush it too because it's got to match. And then we're just going to glue everything down once I get it in place. And I'm sorry that this whole thing is not in camera, but this is a pretty long piece of wood. I'm thinking it's probably 20 inches. Or maybe 24, I don't know, it's pretty long. And so it's also a little warped because it's some old fencing that I went and picked up from a guy that goes to church with my mom. And I keep intending to send him pictures of the things that I made because he was like, I do not know why you want all this old fencing. And I was like, yes, I'll take it. So I'm just going to glue these down, and I'm trying to glue where it's going to adhere to the wood because, like I said, it is warped, so it's not flat. But that's what gives it extra character. Now I'm going to take clear wax by DIY, and I'm going to seal these down. Now DIY wax is a clay-based, water-based paint, and so if you don't seal it, you know, you take a risk of the paint being reactivated and your project being all messed up. And so I did wipe a little bit of that on that clear wax onto my wood piece. And I'm going to just take some more of that red ribbon that I'm in love with. Red, it almost looks like ticking ribbon. And I'm going to wrap it around the top and wrap it around the bottom. And then I thought I was going to put some of that beautiful, I wanted to use this beautiful lace ribbon with that wood so bad, but I just couldn't make it work. And so now I'm going to just take some twine because this is one of my favorite things to do. And wrap it around there. Rappity-rippity wrap. Top and bottom because we don't want one of them to feel left out. And I put a little glue right in the center there too. Just, I don't know why, because I'm silly. I think it holds it a little better. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, who knows. And I'm pulling all the glue strings off. Now I'm going to make a little hanger for the back. So I'll just tie a little double knot. I'm going to put a tiny little drop of hot glue down. And then I'm going to take my staple gun. And I'm going to staple on top and bottom of the knot. Just so it doesn't go anywhere. Let me get in the right place. Staple that down. And I cut it a little bit short, I think, but it'll work. It'll work just fine. So cut a knot. I don't cut a knot. Oh my word. It's late. It's late over here in Texas tonight when I'm doing this voiceover. So I'm gonna glue that down. Same as I did the other side. And then this one is done. Let me know what you think. Which one of these DIYs was your favorite today? You made it to the end. Thanks for watching. I hope that you all are having a great holiday season, but most of all, remember to be still and know that He is God.